What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. I'm going to do a quick video today just showcasing one of my main projects that I'm doing, which is a candle holder design. This is kind of a rustic functional art, I guess you could call it that. It's basically if you'll notice from the beginning of the video, you'll see some images of one that I've done before, and it is basically a type of candle holder that is to take on the form of either an eagle or an owl. Some people see it as an owl, some see it as an eagle. Either description is fine with me, but we're going to showcase a little bit of that today and how we do it. Now, I have my 4x4 already on the saw, ready to go. I've already squared up the edge right here and got everything prepared. We're going to take out a measurement, get it set, and go ahead and get it cut and get it prepared to be able to take the next step, which of course is going to be my favorite part, and that's using the torch. So let's grab a tape measure, get some measurements on this, get it marked out, and get some cutting done, and we'll show you the next part. Here we go. Now, each one of these are approximately 6.5 inches, give or take. It doesn't have to be precise because, as I said, this is functional art, and everything has a way of playing it out. Some may be a little smaller, some may be a little larger. It really depends because there's a lot to be done with it, including some sanding and shaping to get things going. If you hear lawnmower running, my neighbors are cutting grass over here. Got some birds singing. We're inside our portable workshop, so let's go ahead and get some measurements taken here. Again, this doesn't have to be exactly precise in what I'm doing. So we're going to just roughly look at around 6.5 inches. Now, like I said, that can be a little under, a little over. It really doesn't matter. And we're just going to take our straight edge here, our square. We're going to go ahead and mark that line so that we know that's where we want to do the cut at. So now, let's go ahead and get this pulled up, get it locked down, and get going with it. And of course, guys, safety glasses, as always, when you're cutting wood or working with wood projects of any type. So we're going to move this up, get it lined up. Now, guys, this is not exactly precise, and again, doesn't have to be. We're going to cut right on this line. So that's going to take off about a 1/16 of an inch from where my measurements are at, and that is perfectly fine. Let's make sure this is on the saw square. Check that blade one more time. Make sure it's squared up to the fence on the back. And now we're going to bring around our clamp and lock it down. We want to lock this down tight because I want to make sure that it is on there good and sturdy. Because really don't want, although I'm far enough away from the blade, really don't want to hold a piece on this side if necessary. If you can get by with not doing that, you would rather have your hands free and clear. Now, guys, if you notice, I'm having to move my blade guard that way because the arm that pulls it up and down is broke. That's okay. My fingers are far away from the blade as is. We're going to go from there. So let's go ahead and get this cut. As they say in show business, take two. Forgot to hit record on the last one, so we're going to go ahead and cut this again. I did cut one piece off, and there is my piece right there, already cut off, but I will be doing multiples of these. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to record this one here and then cut one more. As I was saying in the video that I thought I was recording, you'll notice I'm just a little shy of that line that I have on there, and that is perfectly fine because it's not going to be and doesn't need to be a precise cut. Now, guys, I'm on a little wobbly table here set up, and it's fine. It's going to work. I will brace my saw a little bit over on the side, so bear with me on that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to start this cut, and we're going to cut it slow. And the reason being is because we don't want to go too fast. We're going to risk a lot of tear out on the backside, and I don't want that. Okay, I'm going to go through that one more time because it didn't cut all the way through. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to start my blade. I'm going to start my blade before I go down, and we're just going to go right back down into that same cut. Perfectly smooth cut, ready to go for the next step. As always with woodworking projects, things can be a little, I guess you could say, touch and go with how you do it. Unless you're doing some like furniture building and things like that where you want those precise, exact measurements. When it comes to art pieces or things that are going to be they don't have to be exact. You don't have to worry so much about getting an exact dead on cut with these. Like I said, each piece is going to be a little different. And honestly, I don't want them all to be exactly the same. I do want a little bit of difference in them with the fact that it is a functional art piece. When I say functional art piece, that's meaning that we're taking a piece of wood, we're doing some work with it, we're going to bring out the grain by torching it, which you'll see here in just a moment. We'll torch it and we'll do sanding on it. And what I will do is I will find the side that I want to be my face for this project. As I said, it is a bird type setup, sort of an owl or eagle. Some people see it as an owl, some sees it as an eagle. It really doesn't matter. Either or is fine. But what I will do is I will look for the side that I want to be the face, and I'll also look for features that I want to highlight when I'm doing the torching. So it's not just, okay, I cut the wood and now let's go ahead and sand it down, grind it. It doesn't matter where I'm going to hit it, and then we'll torch it and we'll paint it. We'll put the eyes, the whole works, and get things going. It's not quite that simple. I will take the time to examine this piece, and I will look for certain features, knots, certain grain textures. And I'm going to pull this up. I want to show you this right here. If you will notice, we have some knots that are highlighted in this piece. Got one here, got a little spot right there. These particular features highlight when you torch it. So probably what I'll end up doing is I have a nice feature here, I have a nice feature here, and of course we have a feature here. That feature I'm not so much concerned about. I want to save that. Now when I go to start grinding this or sanding this down, if I had a grinder I could do it with a grinder. Again, picking up a little bit. If I had a grinder I could do this with a grinder a whole lot easier. But I'm doing this with a sander. You'll see that process in just a moment. But I don't want to lose that right there. So I'm going to look for a spot that I could use. Now I could flip this over and go this route, but I would rather have these pieces facing up. So these are some things that I look at. I take the time, I decide which one is going to look the best, which one's going to give the best features for my potential clients who are going to be purchasing this, because when they purchase it, I want it to look like a piece of artwork. I don't want to just throw it together and say, here you go, this is it. I want to take the time to examine it and decide which features are going to be best. I like this as the top, and this knot here and this knot here. I want to save those features. So we have a knot right there. I'm not so much worried about. So what I will do is I will most likely use this as the face and begin to shape this for the facial features, and then we'll bring and put in an eye here and an eye here. And then we'll come back and we will play with fire. Here we go. Okay, and if you noticed, I was just taking and kind of sketching out a place on this. I'm going to kind of show you this. It's just a rough sketch, not perfect, doesn't have to be perfect, because that just gives me an idea of where I want to go with that sander and how much wood I want to take off. Now, this is pine, so it is a relatively soft wood, so this will work great with a sander. Now, if I was using harder wood, something like oak or birch or something like that, then I'm going to be looking at a much harder wood, and yeah, this won't be the way to go. Although a sander would probably work, it would take a long time. So that would be something that I would rather probably use a grinder on. Unfortunately, at the moment, I don't have a grinder, so we're going with the pine. It's a softer wood, easier to work with, and I really like it. Now, this piece here, you can use pressure treated, especially if it's going to be used for outdoor use. This is not pressure treated, simply because I didn't want, these are some projects that I needed to get done, and I didn't have time to wait on a pressure treated 4x4 post to dry. And if you've been to the lumber yard or to places like Home Depot or Lowe's and you purchase a piece of pressure treated material, typically it's going to be wet. It's going to feel wet. And that's because it comes straight from their supplier. It has recently been treated, and it takes it a while outdoors for it to dry thoroughly. Sometimes, 3-4 weeks, or even as much as 2 or 3 months, depending on the weather. The longer it sits, the more time it has to dry. So I'm going with a piece of premium pine that is not pressure treated. However, that doesn't mean that it can't be used outside. These will be painted. Now, right now, I will be using an indoor, because I'm designing these for indoor use. These will be primarily indoor, so therefore I will be putting an indoor grade polyurethane finish on these, most likely. If not, I will come back with something like a Rust-Oleum 2-time clear coat finish that will still work as a sealer and seal the wood and make it to where it can be used for outdoor finish. Now, as far as the paint, when I paint these, I will be using a Behr premium paint that is an exterior grade. So the white paint that I put on these definitely will work for outdoors. And by torching these, that also helps to seal this wood a little bit as well. Not completely seal it, doesn't completely make it weatherproof, but it will help with a little bit of the sealing process of sealing some of those porous materials in the wood and go from there. But let's get started. Let's start doing some sanding. Here we go. Okay, as you can see, that is a process, even with the sander, of getting the shape that you want. Now, it's kind of hard to see it because it's not painted, and I don't have the torching effect done to it, and I'm not done with it yet. But I'm sure you don't want to sit here and watch a lot of sanding and everything. This will take a few minutes to do the sanding, get it to where I want it to be But you can see where it is beginning to take shape and everything, and I'll figure out where I want the widest part to be, and then we're going to taper it down into where we want it to come off. And then when we come back, of course, as we paint it, that will define those lines a little bit better. So like I said, I'm sure you don't want to sit here and watch a lot of just nothing but sanding. So we're going to just go ahead and skip the remainder of the sanding. And when we come back, yeah, it's going to be time to play with some fire. So let's get started and let's do some more sanding. Here we go. Oh, welcome back. All right, so got the sanding completed as the way that I wanted it. And again, I will define the beak and everything out when I do the painting. And we'll come up just shy of the eyes and everything. But I wanted to go ahead and get this done before we do the torching process. And now it's time to play with fire. Yeah, my favorite part. So what we're going to do is I'm going to bring over one of my other metal sawhorses. I really don't want to put the torch here on the OSB, my little makeshift table. I don't want to use that here. There's a lot of debris, a lot of wood chips and sawdust. Just really don't want to risk any of that flaming up. So we're going to bring over a metal sawhorse that we can set this on, do the torching process. We'll be right back. All right, now it's time to play with some fire. Hey guys, make sure that you're doing this outdoors if possible, or in a well-ventilated area, and make sure that you are in an area that you can, be safe with fire. So the reason I wanted to do this over onto the metal and everything, and I'm not holding the torch to where it's going to have a risk of it flaming up. But anytime you're fooling with fire, you always want to be safe. Now, I also want to add one thing that I just noticed, and I apologize for that, but my microphone, seeing I've got a little small boom mic on my setup, and yeah, I just realized that that microphone is just in the camera shot there, so I apologize for that. Next video, we will take care of that. I will change the way that the camera is set up. So, but let's go ahead, and let's play with some fire. I'm not sure if this will show up on camera. This is the Burns-O-Matic setup. I get this from Home Depot. Basically, just open up the valve, pull the trigger, and we have fire. I know that's probably not showing up on camera, but here we go. And this is basically just a hit and miss. Not going to hit the top of this because it's going to be painted. I will kind of lightly go over it, get a little bit of that sawdust off of it where I just sanded it. And guys, I also did give this a quick sand all the way around, knocked out some sharp edges, got off a few of the pieces. But we're going to get started here. I'm going to start first with the eyes. And I try to get those pretty dark so that they will stand out. If you see that little bit of flame there, that's from the sap. And that is not going to hurt anything. It will quickly go out. So that takes care of the eyes. And now I know some of this is getting over on the horse going to be painted, and that is perfectly fine. That will be something that we can take care of when we paint it. I'm going to hit the bottom of this just a little. Nothing big. I just want to kind of, seal up that bottom just a little bit, and we'll be adding our clear coat finish to it as well. So let me get over here. Let's turn it just a little bit, and you can begin to see the features starting to take shape here. And when doing this, I decide what do I want to stand out more. Do I want it to be a little darker? If so, then I'll just keep that heat on there just a little bit longer. Like right here, I want to highlight this section right here. I want that to stand out, so I'm going to go a little bit heavier on what I'm doing. I'm going to turn to this side. Same thing. I kind of want that dot to stand out a little bit. You can begin to see how it's taking shape and moving in. And now, so that this beak area will stand out, we're going to go a little bit heavier right here. Give it a good scorching. Now let's take a look, see if there's any places that we want to go back over one more time. I'm going to go around these edges just a little bit. I'm going to hit these eyes one more time because I really want those eyes to stand out and to be a lot darker than the rest of it. One more time with the bottom. Do some touch up. Okay, we're going to cut the flame off for the moment. We're going to set the torch aside, get it out of the way. And then we take a look at it. I just go back, I take a look at it, I decide, okay, do I want to do more? Do I want this to stand out anymore? Honestly, I kind of like the way that it turned out. Got some dark sections, some lighter sections. The eyes are hitting in. So now it's time to paint and clear coat and add the candle holder to it. And this piece will be just about ready to go. So we're going to grab some paint, take a look at it, decide what features we want. And I also notice, if I come back and decide, well, I think I need a little bit darker section here, I might hit it with the torch again and go over it that one section. But I think right now we are pretty much where we want to be. So yeah, we'll get some paint and get this going. All right, so as you can see here, guys, I am doing the final painting on this. I apologize, the recording did not pick up, so we're going to do a quick voiceover to talk about this a little bit. I'm using a Bear. This is the E600, I believe it is. This is an exterior grade paint. It's a latex paint. Flat white is the color that I chose on this. This is actually a paint, and it lasts a while for me to be able to use this. I was using it for something else, and I decided to try it on these. I love the way that it turns out. It coats well. But you'll see here, I'm more or less putting the final touches to the painting here. And, again, I'm having to do a voiceover. For some reason, the audio did not record in the next couple of clips here, this one and the next. But it was basically, I was just talking about the painting and showing here, how that it covers everything, how it covers the top very well, a good coverage on that. And I'm talking about the facial features, and I'm going over it a little bit more with the brush and adding just a little bit more paint to this, a little extra layer, extra coat to certain areas that just didn't bleed through. Mostly that was where when I torched it, some of that torching effect got over onto that. So just getting a good coverage on it, and then bringing out the fine detail of the beak area here to get that going in. So, but like I said, this was just a quick touch up with the paint that I was recording and getting in here, and it did not catch. Now, guys, really quickly, I do want to touch on one thing that I was trying to talk about in part of these, but it didn't really take. One, I want to apologize first for the video quality. Tried something. I didn't want to do my phone in a selfie mode where I could actually see the screen, because unfortunately that reverses anything, especially the lettering on the paint can and things like that. And I just didn't want everything to be reversed. I wanted it to be a true setup. So I had my phone turned the opposite direction and recording. Didn't turn on the light on it, which would have helped some. But I guess it was the lighting. I was inside that tent, so I had all of that white, and it was giving me a soft effect with the lighting here, and that made a big difference in this. And also the audio is really bad on this video, and I apologize for that. I was using my boom mic, and unfortunately it was picking up, but it was also picking up everything around. Everything from the wind blowing to dogs barking. The neighbor's dogs was out.
The neighbors out, they were playing, bouncing a basketball. It was picking that up. It picked up the lawnmower. Everything that could be picked up was picking up on the audio, except, unfortunately, me. It wasn't picking me up that well. There was just so much going on around it that really interfered with it. So I apologize for the audio, and I apologize for the video quality of this video, and hopefully in future videos we will be able to have a much better audio and video quality setup. And I also want to touch really quickly. As you see, I'm using my new tent here, and sadly, right after this video, we had a storm to come through, and it was a stronger storm than we were expecting. Really weren't expecting anything major, but we had a pretty bad storm to come through. Some really high winds, some heavy rain, lightning, you name it. It was just a big storm that came through. And unfortunately, my tent suffered the consequences. I did get the walls off before it started, but before I had a chance to, realize that the storm was going to be worse than what it was, and to be able to get the top off, I did not get to get the top off before the storm hit, and sadly, the tent suffered the consequences and was damaged in the process. So, working to try to figure out getting that repaired. Talking with my friend, he may have some parts that I can use to repair it. We're waiting to find out for sure. But as of right now, my new workshop is no longer there. So hoping we'll get that fixed and taken care of in the near future to get it fixed. Now here again I'm talking about, and I'm actually showing a little bit more of the close-up of the project that we just did, and you can see the different setups there. And now I'm going over it with a clear coat. This is the Rust-Oleum 2-time cover. This is a clear coat, and it is an oil-based clear coat, which makes it great for interior or exterior.
Okay, so while we're waiting on that other piece to dry and everything, we've already got all of the coats of clear coat on it, bottom, tops, sides, everything has been sealed. And I went back and added another coat of sealer to this project as well. This is one for an order that's going out today. And now we just need to attach our candle holders to the top, and we'll just place them, kind of eyeball it. They don't have to be exact where we want it, because it's not exactly squared anymore on top. So we're just going to kind of eyeball it, see where it's going to go at on both of these. And I'm going to have a couple of different options on the candle holders. I've got these, and then I'm also going to have something like this as well. Also, my other projects that I'm working on, it may be going on the other one. And we're just using the hot glue to attach these. And of course, I'm using my Ryobi 1 Plus, using the 18-volt battery on this. This works great. I love this tool. I don't have to wait on the power and everything for it to get ready to go. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to add some hot glue to the base of this. Don't need a lot. In fact, we may, we're going to attach it, press it down. Again, don't need a lot because these are not going to be really holding any pressure. And as you see, that one's attached and ready to go. We're going to do the same thing to this one. And yeah, we'll be back and we'll talk a little bit more about this project and what else I have in plans. So stay tuned. Okay, so in today's project, we worked on this piece right here. And as you can see, it is finished. And this is the new design that I came up with and decided I like this. I'm going to get both options available. But I kind of like this piece myself. It's almost a more of a modern rustic appearance. And this is almost, I guess you could say, more of your traditional rustic farmhouse style appearance. But both of these are functional art pieces. This is the new design. As you can see, the little votive candle just fits right down in it. A tea light candle would also fit in it just fine. But these are perfect. Now, the votive candle fits a little bit better in these. Um, a tea light candle might fit in it. I haven't really tried one to see. Now, I know that in this, a tea light candle will fit. Either a tea light or a votive candle will fit in this one. But this was today's project, and although it seems like it's a pretty quick and simple project, there is a lot of work involved in it. I'm going to take this candle out so that I can kind of show the pieces. That piece is now attached and glued using the hot glue gun. Sealed everything, painted everything, and got it all done. Did our torching effect on it. Got everything sealed, painted, the design laid out, and as you can see, no two pieces are identical. There will be some small differences that you will notice in these. When you order one of these from me, they're not going to be absolutely the same. The reason being is, guys, this is not your mass-produced items that you're going to someplace like Hobby Lobby or Michael's or any other place and purchasing those items to where they've been mass-produced in some factory somewhere. These are handmade here by me. Each piece, I take the time to look at it, examine it, decide which feature is going to be the best feature for you and which one is going to look the absolute best when it is presented. I'm going to look for those features when I'm doing the torching. I'm going to look for the best features in the wood grain when I go purchase the wood to make sure that you're getting something that's going to look nice and is going to last for a long time, sitting on that mantelpiece somewhere along with the rest of your home decor. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to stay tuned for more. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit subscribe, and make sure to tell your friends about this channel. And let's help this channel to grow. I know it's been a long time since I've done any videos. We've had a lot going on here family-wise with health and just trying to get things situated and figure out the best route that we could go with the X-Crafter and getting things out there. Loving the new setup. Of course, now I've got to stop now because we have some storms coming in later this afternoon. So I want to get these walls, since these walls are held only by Velcro, I want to get these walls down and get those packed up. Probably going to leave the top on and cross my fingers that it holds up if we get anything. I don't think we're expecting any major storms, but you know, these walls can act like sails and just catching that wind when it comes through. The rest of this I'm going to have tied down. I think it will work great. But as you see, we working great. This is working out to be a perfect little workshop. Nice and cool in here compared to being out there in that direct sunlight like I've been being. So again, thank you to my friend David for giving me first option on this. Yeah, hoping to get things going. Now, guys, I've got a lot more in mind of what I want to do. I've got some great projects that I'm looking at and I've already designed in my head. However, some of those are going to take some time. I need to build up. I need to get some sales going on some of the basic items, getting those going that will work with the tools that I have. You know, I have my basic tools that I've had for a long time and everything. And as you saw, noted earlier, that my blade guard is broke, but it suffices. It works. I just have to manually raise it and everything, which is fine. It still serves its purpose and it still protects. But you know, so there's some great project ideas. I just don't have the tools to do those right now. So stay tuned, because as soon as we get some sales going and get a lot of products going, gets a little bit of money coming in, we're going to look at upgrading some of our equipment and add in, I'm looking at adding in, of course, a better sander. That hand belt sander does a great job, but if I had like a drum sander or, a bench top belt sander, something that I could have both hands to sit there and work with the piece, that would be an amazing piece to help me out. And I'm also looking at, because, when I'm working with pieces such as 2x4s and 2x6s, things like that, there's this great woodworker on YouTube. I love the way he says things. He's a Southerner, and, he's talking like 2x4, 2x6s. And he says, for you non-Southern speakers out there, that would be a 2x4 and a 2x6, things like that. But I'm going to be working with those 2x4s and 2x6s and 2x8s and things like that. I've got a lot of great plans. But for those, I want to be able to get that perfectly smooth surface on there, which would bring me into getting a thickness planer so that I can smooth those out. That's a future project that I would love to get, future tool. Some other great items that I'm looking at that I will be doing with 4x4 post, but with that, I will definitely need a bandsaw. And unfortunately, the bandsaw that I purchased many years ago no longer works. And I just can't afford to get a replacement one of those right now. So that project that I had in mind is just going to have to hold off for now. I could probably, and I may experiment with a couple of pieces of the 4x4 that I have left over and see what I can do with it using a handsaw. But I'm not really sure because it's some detailed work that, really need a bandsaw to do it. So, all right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and be sure to like this video, share this video with your friends, and tell others to come and subscribe to this channel. Help me grow. And be sure to check out my Facebook page. I'll put that link in the description so that you can go there and you can contact me on Facebook, or you can contact me here. I believe my email information is in the About section. I will check that to make sure. If not, I will put that contact in the description as well. Be sure to reach out to me if you would like an order. If you would like to order one of these pieces or any other pieces that you see. I have the flower boxes, and we're going to do a video on that one day very soon on the flower boxes made with fence picket. That's right, another of my favorite woods to work with. Until next time, guys, you know what to do. As always, stay crafty.